Welcome to this edition of AOPA Pilot News Brief, and happy National Aviation Day. Friday, August 19th is Orville Wright's birthday, and President Roosevelt proclaimed the first National Aviation Day in 1939. That's a special year for AOPA, our founding. And he encouraged everyone to observe the day with activities that promote an interest in aviation. So, go do it, go fly. Now, AOPA just happens to be helping to celebrate aviation at 3 airports in our area: Columbus, Indiana, Garrett County, Maryland, and Dare County, North Carolina. The First Flight Society has a free event Friday at Dare County Regional Airport with airplane displays, exhibitors, and food trucks between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. And Dare County is just 6 nautical miles south of First Flight Airport, so you could drop in and walk the hollow ground of Orville and Wilbur's groundbreaking achievement, or fly to the layover at Columbus Municipal Airport. That starts at 3 p.m. on Friday and extends to overnight camping if you wish. Saturday, we'll have a Rusty Pilot Seminar, and then finally the 9th Annual Garrett County Fly-In. That's on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So don't forget to use your AOPA app and check in at every airport you land at. Each airport gets you a card to play in the AOPA Poker Run National Flight Challenge. Well, a couple of NTSB reports to tell you about. First, that failed Red Bull airplane swap. The board's conclusion? Surprise. In what is quite possibly the shortest probable cause statement in the board's history, they concluded that the unoccupied airplane exceeded the critical angle of attack, which resulted in a stall, subsequent inverted spin, and impact with terrain. Well, duh. Now, because the aircraft was inverted, the ballistic parachute couldn't deploy properly and the aircraft was destroyed. By the way, the FAA revoked both pilots' certificates. Then there's the heartbreaking case of the co-pilot who apparently jumped out of his aircraft. The NTSB preliminary report lays out the sequence of events. The co-pilot was flying the CASA 212-200 to a landing after dropping a load of skydivers. The aircraft developed a high sink rate. Both pilots called for a go-around, but the aircraft hit the ground hard, damaging the right main landing gear. The crew declared an emergency and diverted to the larger Raleigh-Durham approach. The pilot told the NTSB investigators that the co-pilot had become upset about the previous hard landing. He opened his side window saying that he might get sick, and then he lowered the ramp at the back of the aircraft, telling the pilot he needed air. He left his seat, apologized to the pilot, and exited the aircraft. It's not clear if he fell or jumped out of the back. Now, the report doesn't say suicide, but it nonetheless raises the issue of pilot mental health. And it's an issue that we don't talk about, mostly because just about everybody thinks that any mental health issue will lead to the loss of your pilot certificate. It won't unless it escalates to a suicide attempt or irrational behavior. That's what the federal air surgeon assured pilots during an AOPA roundtable at Oshkosh.
Mental health conditions were very high on my list and remain high on my list of things we need to address within the FAA. The myth was, if you ever admit to a mental health diagnosis, you will never fly again. There are, in fact, some conditions we don't ever waive, but we waive an incredible number of them. But the trick is getting people to get the help they need early. Mild, minimal, moderate depression and anxiety are relatively easy to handle. We need to change the mindset so that people come forward and get the help they need before they take some drastic action. What about ADD and ADHD? We've got a group that's starting to sit down and think about, is there a cadre of people with a history of ADD and ADHD that have outgrown it? Can we find a test or two that truly discriminates between those who had it and no longer do versus those who truly do? But it's about safety in the end. We want to get as many people in the air that it's safe for them to do.
Now, the important thing is to get help. Worry about your certificate later. And when it comes to your medical, the medical certification staff and the AOPA Pilot Information Center are there to give you confidential advice and guidance. Take care of yourself, and more likely than not, you can get or keep your medical certificate. Another health issue concerning an airport, a group of medical professionals are asking the Jefferson County Commission in Colorado to do something about leaded avgas at Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport. The Colorado Sun reports that the medicos want studies, a limit on airport ops, blood level testing of kids under 6, and the sale of unleaded avgas at the airport. They cite the issues at Reed Hillview. Now, perhaps that's not surprising. The professor who did the studies around Reed Hillview is at Colorado State University in Fort Collins, just north of Rocky Mountain Airport. Now, some folks say electric aircraft are the solution. There's been a lot of talk about the future of flight and a whole gaggle of eVTOL concepts. One of the few flying eVTOLs performed in the air show this year at EAA AirVenture is called the BlackFly Opener, an aircraft designed for personal use. We asked one of the flight test engineers what it's like to fly.
When you take off, we have a little over 800 pounds of thrust, and it's a 350-pound vehicle empty. So it takes off the ground pretty powerfully. And also you can be standing in the air, position, hold, hover, and then push forward and start flying forward at 60 miles an hour, which is just an amazing experience. And when you pitch forward, you can see the world around you. It's almost like a helicopter type visibility looking at the ground in front of you. So it's a great way to experience flying.
The BlackFly operates under Part 103 ultralight regulations, so no pilot certificate is needed. No word yet on when the company will start selling the aircraft. We have a full video about BlackFly on our YouTube channel. It's an amazing undertaking every 4 years at Oshkosh, the 1 week wonder. This year's project was a YXB model from Sonex Aircraft. The wide-tailed two-seater took shape over the course of the week thanks to the many people who took part. Many of them have never had any home building experience. Kay Coates is an elementary school teacher who was on site for the day.
So I did some training this morning, learned some things to take back to the classroom, and now I'm looking at all the cool airplanes and all the fun things here.
And you're building one?
And I built an airplane.
Awesome.
You can see more of the process right now at the link on the top of your screen. And if you want some more of that aviation event experience, we're just a few weeks away from our fly-in hangout at Feltzfield in Spokane, Washington, September 9th and 10th. The event will be similar to the AOPA fly-ins of the past, but with more focus on community.
The AOPA Hangout is a much more intimate version of our typical AOPA fly-in. The focus is spending time with other fellow aviators, like-minded people, in a very cool setting that Feltzfield is. It is a beautiful field. It's very historic. They have a lot of very involved great tenants on field. 39 Lounge will be the center entertainment hub of our event. It'll be the Stoll viewing area and any aerial demonstrations that we have going on. In the evenings, there will be food trucks, a band, a bar, fire pits. It's just going to be a great area to hang out.
We'll also have Stoll demos, warbird flyovers, educational seminars, and an expanded camping area if you want to pitch a tent under your wing. You can also take a look at the AOPA Sweepstakes Cessna 170. Admission to the event is $20 per person, but kids 17 and under get in for free. You can sign up on our website. We'll be back in a moment.
So when I'm working, flying an airline jet, I use Bose ProFlight. The ProFlight changed the comfort level. It's so light I never take it off my head.
Welcome back. Business aviation is booming, so to speak. FlightAware reports that business flights are running about even with where they were last year, and well above the numbers in 2019 before the pandemic. FlightAware thinks business aviation is turbine-powered only, even though our data shows that the majority of piston engine flights are for business purposes. And speaking of piston engine general aviation, we account for more than 30% of the aircraft in the air at any one time. Airlines are more than half. And the airlines are booming literally. American Airlines is joining United in buying the Boom Supersonic Overture airliner. United has ordered 15 and American 20. The new generation Concorde has yet to fly. They're still working on the engines for the Boomer. Rolls-Royce has the lead on that. The Mach 1.7 aircraft will carry 65 to 80 passengers, and first flight is set for sometime in 2026. Well, the Marines are going electric vertical takeoff and landing, that is. Joby Aviation has announced an expansion of their contract with the Defense Department. Now almost all branches, Navy, Army, Air Force, and Marine Corps are looking at eVTOLs in general and the Joby design in particular. I guess Space Force doesn't see a use for eVTOLs. Now, the military is testing the grown-up drones for resupply, troop relocation, and emergency medical response applications. And Walmart drones may soon be flitting about Orlando and Tampa. They join some 32 other cities and 6 states where Walmart will soon be flying drones to deliver packages within a mile of the store. The drone-up drones can carry up to 10 pounds. A remote pilot flies the drone to the customer's home, and the package is lowered on a cable. And what can the drone deliver? Well, just about anything that fits within weight limits. The most popular item from one of the already operating sites is, get this, hamburger helper. And finally, if you're looking to get into some different areas of aviation, there are some niche scholarships available. The National Agricultural Aviation Association has 4 $5,000 Ag Wings of Tomorrow scholarships available for aspiring crop dusters. Ag pilots. There are scholarships specifically for women, including 4 $7,500 scholarships for flight training from the I Heart Flying Foundation, and there's a $20,000 scholarship available for a high school student to use in an aviation mechanics program. You can read more about scholarships on our website. That's it for this week's news brief. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and we hope to see you again back here next Friday. Happy Aviation Day.
My name is Rick Bossart, and I have a private pilot license, single engine land, IFR, as well as about 1,800 hours of flying time. I currently own a Cub Crafters NX Cub. I fly from Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, California. So if I compare what I used to fly with, ADSB, and now SiriusXM Weather, the most striking difference to me is the reliability and the ever-presence information that SiriusXM Weather gives me. I don't have to worry whether the data is old or not and whether it's going to cut out or not. Last summer in Idaho, there were severe fires that were coming up all over the place right in the middle of our trip. We would see TFRs that weren't there minutes ago and things that were ever evolving and changing quickly. And knowing that we had the most current information before we popped up and potentially popping up into a TFR was extremely valuable.